Hello, HIST 512 American Revolution students. My name is Ronald Picciarelli, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you about the Saratoga National Historical Battlefield. Now, if you go to visit the Saratoga National Historical Park, you'll notice right away that the park is extremely wooded, and there are thick forests all over the park, and that will influence what happened during the fighting there at Freeman's Farm. You'll notice right away that the reason that the major battles occurred at this place called Freeman's Farm is that because Mr. Freeman, he cleared the land for his small family farm, and the British and the Americans could form their battle lines in the cleared land and fight it out in the cleared land. Because if you're going out into the thick forest that's all through the battlefield and all around the area, you're going to be skirmishing there. Now, many of our historians, when they write about the Battle of Saratoga, they don't really include details like that, such as, in Robert Middlecoff's book, we get his maps, and he talks about, fighting at Freeman's Farm, and he has this giant cleared place, like it's some kind of huge plantation. And that really wasn't the case at all. It was a small family farm, few acres at most. When I went there and talked to the reenactors, they were telling me exactly what happened there and why the fighting was there at Freeman's Farm. So I would have to doubt Robert Middlecoff has actually visited the battlefield at Saratoga, because he didn't include details like, why this occurred at Freeman's Farm. Also, he never mentions the monument to the leg of Benedict Arnold. Benedict Arnold is mentioned in our text as being wounded, but he was wounded in the leg very badly, and his horse fell on the leg, and that didn't help matters. So there's a monument to Benedict Arnold's leg at Saratoga. Also, if you go there, you'll notice other details, such as the Canadian cabin that is in the middle of the battle lines. And the British and the Americans were there for weeks, and the Canadian element in the British forces had time to construct a small cabin, which they lived out of for weeks, and it became a mini redoubt for the British forces during their battles with the Americans. And you would never know that unless you had actually been to the battlefield at Saratoga. Also, the term battle at Saratoga is kind of a historian's construct. That's where General Burgoyne moved his troops after he couldn't break through at Freeman's Farm. He moved his troops 6 miles way up the Hudson River and to a small village near Saratoga, and negotiated for his surrender there. So that's why it's called the Battle at Saratoga, because he surrendered at Saratoga, not near Freeman's Farm or anything like that. Also, if you read Robert Middlecoff and other historians, they describe Saratoga and all these casualties and things like that. But if we look at Howard Peckham's The Toll of Independence, where he analyzes every skirmish and battle of the American Revolution and gets fairly accurate casualty figures, the first battle of Freeman's Farm, Americans killed 80, wounded 200. Which pretty big for a Revolutionary War battle, but it's nothing like a Stalingrad or anything like that. And on the British side, he also mentions that they suffer 556 casualties. So when you go to visit places like Saratoga National Historical Park, make sure you definitely go so you can answer questions from your students. And when we're good historians, we want to be like Herodotus, the father of history, who went and visited battlefields and places where history was made. That way you can be a credible source for your students. So anyway, if we don't go and visit these historical places, who's going to? So if not you, who? So make sure you definitely visit American Revolutionary War historical sites, because they're very interesting and you'll learn a lot more for your history lectures. So thank you. Good night.